Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video I'll be doing a full review plus showing gameplay for the Tam 2IP, a German premium tank which currently sits at 8.7 BR, although I do see its BR increasing in the future for reasons I'll go over in this video. As such, I'll do my best to review this tank as both an 8.7 and 9.0 BR vehicle, go over its stats, roles, strengths and weaknesses, and give my final recommendation on this modern light tank if you should purchase it or not. That said, please subscribe if you have not done so already, as it helps my channel tremendously. Also, I'll be recording the audio, if you could not already tell, with a slightly different setup. So let me know if it sounds any better or worse in the comments below. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So to start, let's go over its stats for RB, and it has a turret traverse rate ranging from 23.8 to 34 degrees per second, depending on crew skill, a reload speed range of 8.7 to 6.7 seconds, again depending on crew skill, a top speed of 75 kilometers per hour, max armor pen of 408mm with the incredible 105mm DM33 APF SDS round, -7 to +18 degrees of vertical guidance, and it costs 8,910 golden eagles. With all that being said, let's get into its roles, and basically this is going to be treated as an armored light flanker / support frontline tank. Now the reason for these designations is because of its heavier armor that, as of the recording of this video, does not increase its weight above the regular Tam, but it does accelerate somewhat slower than again the regular Tam. This however does not mean that it is slow by any means, as it can still reach 50 kilometers per hour with little difficulty, and can hit 70+ kilometers per hour with enough motivation and time. It is also incredibly agile. These traits lend heavily to its flanker status. In addition to all of this, its previously mentioned armor, which is largely upgraded with actually useful composite screens, allows you to not only take the occasional Heat FS shell, which is somewhat common versus 9.0 and lower BR vehicles, but will also allow you to absorb higher powered anti-aircraft fire and even some ATGMs, whereas the other Tams cannot do this. In fact, the Tam 2IP is the most modern Tam in War Thunder, being first tested in 2015, whereas the Tam 2C was first tested in 2010, which lends a bit of credibility to this vehicle being maybe a little overpowered for its BR. This, again, as of the recording of this video, sits at the same 8.7 BR as the entirely worse base model Tam. It features much more armor, making it actually fairly tanky for a light tank, as I have personally deflected numerous high-powered Heat FS and even some APF SDS shells off the front of the Tam 2IP, and features the use of the DM33 round, which is absolutely devastating, even through 10.0 BR. The Tam 2IP gets that round at 8.7 BR, but likely soon to be at least 9.0 BR. All of this aside, again, flanking is your priority, as you are small, fast, and both well armed and armored, especially for a light tank and especially for around this BR. Go towards either of the outside objectives or stay on the fringes of the map for the most success in this role. Alternatively, due to the much better armor of the 2IP and the DM33, you can actually act as a great support tank for the front line. Angled properly, the composite screens give you excellent additional armor and make you several times more survivable than the other Tams. Stay behind the front lines and pick people off from a distance, as your DM33 can likely penetrate through the lower glacis of MBTs that you'll face, all of them in fact, even through 10.0 BR vehicles, and will definitely pen the sides of all vehicles too, which lends to mild flanking exercises near the front lines. This can basically do everything that the Tam can do, but better. And now for the Tam 2IP strengths and weaknesses. First and foremost, as I mentioned before, it has access to the amazing DM33 APF SDS round, which I believe is, at 8.7, the lowest BR vehicle in-game with access to this round. It has higher pen at 2 kilometers than the DM23 has at point blank range. Also, to go with this, it has an extremely accurate cannon. If you point somewhere, it will hit it. Also, the Tam 2IP is a great addition to an already ridiculously powerful lineup of German vehicles between 8.7 BR and 9.3 BR. Also, as mentioned before, the armor on this tank, being that it is more or less surrounded by composite screens, will make you nearly impervious to most anti-aircraft fire from the front. Additionally, it will save you from numerous heat FS shells, especially from weaker cannons, and doubly so if you can get them to hit at an angle. The armor on this vehicle makes a huge difference over the standard TAM. The enhanced armor also stops most HMGs. Now, in relation to the Tam 2IP's speed, it is somewhat slower to accelerate than the Tam, but it can still move fast, and in favorable conditions, it will hit 60 to 70 kilometers per hour with relative ease. Also, it has an actually good turret traverse for an 8.7 BR vehicle, and will still be good at 9.0, assuming again that it reaches that BR. Combine this with its speed and small size and you have an excellent flanker. Also, it has great gun elevation, which makes chip shots against planes, but more so against helicopters, an actually viable option. And you can also empty your ammo racks by carrying 21 shells, which, to be honest, is plenty. Unfortunately, I did not consider this until most of my recording for this video was completed. And finally, it has premium bonuses for both RP and SL, and to be honest with you, this is an excellent grinder, especially around this BR. And now for the weaknesses. Though it has composite screens that can protect against heat FS at an angle, any Sabo or APF SDS round will still tear right through this thing, at least if you're not at an extreme angle, although with a lower chance to penetrate than with a regular TAM. And though this may be a glitch, I have experienced night vision only working when not using the cannon, which makes it far less useful and could also account for its BR placement. In addition to the potentially lackluster night vision, it definitely does not have thermals, which is a real big weakness at higher BRs. In addition to this, while the frontal gun depression is actually decent, it cannot depress when over the rear of the tank. And finally, it has poor cannon zoom. While the initial magnification is okay but not good, it can hardly zoom in. One could almost compare the magnification of this to a modern version of the gun sights on a T-34. It's pretty rough, especially for this BR. So for my final recommendation, I'd say that even considering its high 8910 GE cost, the Tam 2IP is still an amazing purchase for those that love light tanks and or want a great lineup at 8.7 BR for Germany. This combined with the other Tam, the Class 3P if you have it, the Leopard A1A1, and if you go up or down a fraction of a BR, many other tanks, adds so much potency and is a great addition again to the German ground tech tree. And one thing actually that I did not mention in the strengths that I wish I did, this also has an amazing reverse speed, which makes it even more useful. Though it may cost the equivalent of around $45 USD, I say that this vehicle with few exceptions is much better than the much more expensive and higher BR XM8. Again, the Tam 2IP does not have thermals, and its night vision is pretty spotty at best, but it sits at 8.7 BR and will not encounter night maps incredibly often, unless in a high up tier. Even if and when this vehicle is moved to 9.0 BR, I still don't see it getting into so many night matches where the abilities of the 2IP are greatly diminished. Simply put, the 2IP is a total upgrade over the regular Tam, and if you like how that vehicle plays, or for that matter, how any higher BR light tank plays, the Tam 2IP will suit your playstyle perfectly. If you're iffy, I'd wait for a sale before purchasing this, but I'd say that it's worth purchasing regardless of if it's on sale or not. That all said, thank you all so much for watching. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments below, whether it's about the video or my new audio setup. That would really mean the world to me. Again, like, subscribe, whatever you'd like to do. It all supports my channel tremendously. But either way, thanks again for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.